Hello, good morning. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Osuri Balde, wherever you're watching us from. Welcome to this morning. It's a rainy, wet Tuesday morning, and it's coming to you from our studios on Kairaba Avenue, West Africa, the Gambia, KMC, the Serekunda. I don't know the number. I keep saying I don't know my street number, and Mr. Ade would be finding that very funny.
Very amusing.
Yes, I mean, I was supposed to know my street number.
But at least the street has a name, which is very unusual in the Gambia. Once you leave Banjo, but you and I know, but many almost no buildings.
Kairaba Avenue.
It's Kairaba Avenue, but almost no buildings. In fact, I haven't seen any building with a number on it. Although they all have, they must have, but none of them seem to have the numbers on it.
They say, I mean, there are other junctions and other locations. There are landmarks that people name after certain things. I mean, this junction is called the Q-Cell building.
That's
right. We call it the Q-Cell junction.
Q-Cell building junction.
You understand?
And I'm sure even if
and
we have
even
a
the mosque,
number,
even the mosque opposite, which
isn't
isn't the Q-Cell mosque, people refer to as the Q-Cell mosque. I'm sure they get annoyed at that.
The Q-Cell mosque.
Yeah.
Yes, and you know, how many people call the arch the Memorial Arch? I think it was renamed.
It was renamed to the Never Again.
To Never Again.
But nobody, we haven't gotten news. Yeah, people still talk about Royal Victoria, RVTH.
We still call it Royal Victoria.
And that hasn't been that for 30 years.
Edward Francis Morris.
Edward Francis.
But you know, Mr. Ade, sometimes it's important for us to take, well, I didn't acknowledge you there. Good morning, Julde.
I mean,
we're busy bantering.
like that.
How are you, Julde?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. I think we were all in this conversation of street names and all that. Yeah, but I'm fine, Balde. Alhamdulillah.
How was your public holiday? I hope Mr. Ade gave you a time to relax.
Yeah, I spent it with my family and it was a good one.
The only person who didn't have time to relax was me.
You?
They were all away pretty much. Yesterday it was myself, Lena, Amadou Tamba, Rohi Samba. We were in the office. Everybody else, well, with their family.
That makes you a leader. You are not a boss.
No,
you are a leader.
A friend called me saying, "Are you home? I want to come and visit." I said, "No, I'm in the office." She said, "You workaholic, you." It's not that, but somebody has to be here. But
Well, Mr. Ade got a small life. He doesn't get this life to go out and enjoy himself.
There's no life.
The life is somehow limited.
Extremely.
Exactly. So on the program today, we'll take a look at the African code as usual. Then we will be engaging, you know, personnel from NAWEC. We'll be talking about water management, conservation. Sure. It's important for us to know how to manage our waters, because every drop saved, you know, it's important because another individual might use it. Sometimes we take things for granted, but at some point you will see there are other people somewhere, they need that water.
Although on a day when almost everywhere is flooded because of excessive rain, it might not be the most appropriate day to talk about not having enough water, but there you are. But people don't do a lot of kind of, you know, when talking about conservation, I don't want to kind of preempt the conversation that will come up later. But people don't do a lot of rain harvesting, you know, where you put something that captures the rainwater and then you can use it for, you know, maybe not for drinking, but because by the time it comes, some of it is quite filthy because of all the pollutants in the air. But you can use it for other things, you know, you can use it to water plants. But I see very little of that here, in spite of the quite, you know, serious amount of rainfall that we get. Like today, I mean, almost everywhere is flooded in the kind of urban area.
Well, I mean, it's not, well, there are other countries that, you know, they manage water very well. You talked about the rainwater. You know, do you know rainwater can be used for many things? Yeah, I didn't even know. It's recently that I knew you can use rainwater as a battery, you know, as a substitute for battery acid. You know, when you put it in your car battery, it will definitely work. But the rainwater, there is a way to harvest that water in order for you to use it for your battery. What you do is...
Don't try this at home, people.
Well, no, it's something... You can use rainwater for your car batteries, but only the rain that didn't touch your corrugated iron seats.
Corrugated.
There is a way to do it,
Yes.
and I've seen people, who used it, and it worked.
It worked. Okay.
Yes, it works. I mean,
I'll keep using the proper stuff.
the proper stuff. Yeah, so, I mean, managing water, it's very significant. Then we'll also talk to the team from GBOS. They'll be in the studios, the preliminary
Gambia
report.
Bureau of Statistics.
We already have the report from the team.
Housing and Population Census.
Exactly.
Report.
Very interesting statistics there. Yes. I mean, when I looked at some of the numbers, I was really like, well, how comes? Yeah. And according to this one, Gambia's population, the 2.4. And I am pretty sure before they finalize everything, probably we are going to land on 2.4 again, or 2.5.
It might say, yeah, exactly. I was going to say 2.4, 2.5.
Exactly.
It's a preliminary one. By the time they validate and finalize it, it might have inched up because, they need to tidy up certain things. But I expect it to go up rather than down from 2.4. So like you said, my theory is it might be about 2.5, but I have no scientific reason for that, just a wild guess. But yeah, 2.4 for the moment.
Exactly. So Julde, the African code.
Hit us with the quote.
Julde is looking definitely.
She's looking like resplendent.
Fulani, a beautiful Fulani princess this morning.
That's what Balde does when he wants to bribe me.
into reading the quote.
You know how to deal with certain things. Even my mom, if I want to get something from her, I know how to go about it.
So our African proverb this morning, it's a lengthy one. The owl is the wisest of all birds because the more it sees, the less it talks.
Is that true?
The more it sees, the less it talks. Okay.
The less it sees?
No.
The more it sees, the less it talks. Yeah.
Does owl?
So I'm imitating the owl now. It's one of the least demonstrative birds. This is true. Lots of birds. I have birds outside my window. They have a particular song that they sing every day. And in fact, I'm going to record it one day because it's quite beautiful. And it's lengthy and quite persistent. But the owl, the sound, the coo that it makes is quite intermittent. They're usually long intervals before you hear it. I don't know if you've experienced that, but where I lived in Sierra Leone, we used to have owls, and it's the weirdest looking bird because they just kind of sit there with their big eyes, looking, and they barely make a sound. And when they do, it's at quite sort of lengthy intervals between sounds. So I guess that's what it says in the literal sense. But I guess also it's about, if you wanted to flip it metaphorically, is, you might see something, you might know something, but you're probably not the very talkative type. Because some people, they talk and talk and talk, but they don't say much. It's just a lot of noise. They just, as some people say, flapping their gums. And then you have somebody who is observant and quiet. And when they speak, they say something profound. And you think,
makes sense, yeah.
Yes, So, yeah, I can relate to that, both in terms of the literal sense of the owl and also in the way Balde is looking at me like he's not saying anything at the moment. But when he does, it will be something quite profound, I am sure.
Profound, yeah.
Exactly. So
but that's my
about
take.
You, Julde?
That's my take.
It's more or less with Mr. Ade's interpretation of the proverb. Another proverb says the empty barrels make the most noise.
Yeah.
So people with less wisdom, people with less knowledge tend to make a lot of noise, and they tend to blow things out of proportion oftentimes. But those with wisdom, those that have the technical know-how, they really take their time to actually digest whatever situation that arises their way or comes their way, and then they'll evaluate it, analyze it before they actually spill it out, which I think is very, very important. But people who have, less knowledge and wisdom, I mean, they don't even give themselves the time to think
before,
to analyze before they can actually spit it out.
It's like my manager that I used to, Mr. Jackson, he said, you you've opened your mouth before you engaged your brain.
Yes.
You know, when you say something and then when you say it, it sounds stupid because you didn't think, you didn't pause and analyze what you're about to say. And then he used to make fun of people in the office when they would say something stupid, and he would say, yes, you know, you opened your mouth before you engaged your brain. So,
there was a very famous picture on social media at some point. You know, there is an image, someone did an image, you know, sort of a cable, an electric cable from the person's tongue then to the brain. But in the middle, there was sort of a switch whereby you need to connect. He said, make sure before you talk, connect this cable.
Exactly. Engage your brain first.
It's very important. So at some point, the Wolof will tell you, Wahtanal Sanjaganai. You know, go and talk to your pillow. You understand? So when you lie down, you start cogitating. Yes, you understand? At some point.
So what's your take on this? You haven't given us yours.
Yeah, so, I mean, my own take...
No dodging, please.
My take would be, when you know more, there's no need for you to make a lot of noise. You understand? You already know. You've already seen. And at some point, there's no need to prove whether...
You don't have to prove to anybody.
You don't have to prove to anybody. You understand? So I think the owl is a very wise bird.
It's often said that it is.
It's a bird that is marginalized in our society. At some point, people
associate witchcraft
to witchcraft.
It's in most of Africa.
In my community where I come from, when an owl sings in the night, people will follow the owl in that night and start stoning it to drive it away.
Yeah, because it's associated with bad news.
There's a sound. There's a sound it does. The sound.
Cuckoo.
You understand that sound? According to some people, when you hear that sound, someone is
bad luck. Someone
is going to die.
Quite. It's the same in Sierra Leone. It's not just
you understand?
Here.
So it's definitely complicated. But for me, actually, I don't think so. What I think is, it's a bird. That's how it operates. That's how it's created.
It's just
like the pigeon. It's like any other parrot. You know. But it's totally different.
It's different, and I think part of it is because it has this kind of mysterious. Because when you see them, they just tend to sit in one place. They don't flap about. They don't fly around. They just sit in one place, and they just seem to be staring. And you'll see their eyes, you know, occasionally blinking, and or just staring straight ahead. And so people find that unnerving, you know. And then when it makes the sound, they say, "Oh no, not bad luck." Oh, you know.
Bad luck, yes.
So
the bird that I am scared of is the bat.
Why?
It's definitely scary.
It's like a rat with wings.
Yes,
because it looks very much like a rat.
You know, and it has teeth like that of a human. You understand?
You see them when they attack mangoes or something, and you know, when they've bitten into mangoes, you can see that, oh, these teeth are sharp. You know,
there are many creatures. I mean, you know, the last time I went to Kartong, I visited the riverside, and I saw a lot of birds, the like of the pelican. It's a bird with the biggest beak.
They have pelicans there?
They have pelicans there.
Wow.
Mr. Ade, you can see them in hundreds.
For real?
For real, you can see.
Oh, you've given me an idea for a story now. We have to go and check them out.
We have them. You take a boat, you go, and you see the pelicans. You see them, big birds.
I never
They have them.
I never knew that. I bet that's news to many people.
Absolutely.
Wow, cool. But so we've all had a go at this African quote or proverb. And
so we'll take a short break. After the break, then we will take a look at some of the stories making headlines. We'll be right back.
Cool.
For your luxurious name brand vehicle, located along the Bertil Harding Highway, Espas Motors is the Gambia's authorized dealer for Chery, Kia, Ford, and now we bring you the new Peugeot model 3008 SUV. 18-inch alloy wheels, 216 inches high ground clearance, keyless entry system, start and stop button, rear parking assistance system, reverse camera, adaptive cruise control with speed limit, LED daytime running lights, front and side airbags, 8-inch HD touchscreen. Not to forget our exquisite Peugeot Landtrek double cabin pickup with 2.1-liter diesel engine, 6-speed manual transmission 4x4, hill descent control, LED daytime running lights, Espas Motors, the authorized dealer for Peugeot. Visit us today or call us on 35-22-222 or 353-4444. Looking for internet for your free videos, pictures, chats, work, and school projects? Think free night browsing. QCell's free night browsing lets you browse the internet for free. Oh yeah. Get a data SIM, recharge a minimum of $500 and enjoy free browsing after 24 hours from midnight to 6 a.m. every night for 30 days. QCell, Sunubus. We innovate, others follow.
You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Osori Balde, and we've already dealt with our African code. And of course, now we'll get into stories making headlines. I mean, let's, yes, you want to say
I was going to say, before we delve into that, the thing you mentioned about pelicans, and I said I had no idea.
Oh,
I genuinely had no idea.
Yeah.
But just before I came on air, I was watching a YouTube video about a place called El Jem in Tunisia. And it's got a Colosseum almost the size of the one in Rome that millions of people go and visit every year. And yet almost nobody, in fact, the guy who went there, when he went, the place was completely deserted. Built by the Romans in 3 AD. And it used to take about 30,000 people. And it is beautifully preserved. And yet, I don't know, Tunisia, you need to do something about your tourism, because if people knew this was there, they'd flock there to go and watch it, because it's beautiful, it's magnificently preserved, and it's huge. And, you know, I knew that they existed, but I'd never seen a picture of it, or even a video. And then the guy showed it from inside, and then you had the kind of aerial shots as well, and it is magnificent. You know, but I just thought, because you mentioned pelicans and I had no idea.
You know, sometimes you have other things in your country, but at some point you take it for granted. You understand? Imagine you talk about those birds, and you know, you didn't even know. But for me, I was taking that as a normal thing. They are normal birds. We have them, and you know, maybe the likes of you and other people will be like, oh, we have pelicans in the Gambia. And we do. They are here.
It's like in Sierra Leone, if you're somebody who you've lived your whole life, that you were born and you brought up in Freetown, you would never have seen a horse. But if you go to a place called Kabbalah in the north, a lot of Fula guys there, and they do cattle rearing, and most of them have horses to kind of help them with the cattle. They have hundreds of horses there. And yet many people who are literally Freetonians, they've never been outside of Freetown. They don't. When they go there, they're shocked. Like, huh? We have horses in Sierra Leone, and we have them in their hundreds, if not thousands. But you know, like I said, unless you go to that area, you could live and die at 100 years old in Freetown, and you never see a horse in your life, because you never see them in Freetown ever.
Yeah. So I mean, let's talk about the sports minister, Honorable Bakari Baji.
Yes.
I mean, he okays the current work at the mini stadium, at our national stadium.
Mini stadium.
Minister okays the work.
Yeah.
But the scoreboard, people are talking about the stadium scoreboard. It's like a flat screen. I mean, at some point, I was expecting, you know, they will at least try to renovate maybe one of the previous scoreboard.
They have a couple of months or less to kind of get everything up to standard, and the reason why the minister mentions it is because people are asking, it's getting close. And there had been the hope that Gambia's next home game will literally be played at home rather than in Morocco, where we've had to play our home games because the stadium is unfit. And so that's why people have asked him about it, and he said it's on track, it's on course, and he's happy with the work, he's happy with the progress. Before it opens, I guess the scoreboard might be one of the things that they might fix, just to kind of modernize and bring it up to. But that's probably the least things. I mean, they need things like toilet, media areas, and so on.
Julia, have you seen the scoreboard? You didn't see it?
I've not been going to around the stadium for a while now.
It's not, you know, we are having our that big scoreboard.
The huge one, yeah.
Yes, the huge one.
Yeah.
I know as time goes on, modernization, things are changing. We might not be using that because that has been built for a long time. Now we have the modern scoreboards.
Electronic
and I know
ones,
the one they install is a modern one, electronic one. But it doesn't fit where they placed it.
Right. Okay, so they might, if they're watching this, Ibrahim Abalde is telling you to move the scoreboard before you reopen the stadium.
Yeah, let them make sure.
So what else? What else is?
Yeah,
is
so KMC's admin director ignorant of trucks cost.
Trucks cost. Yeah, I mean I don't know what that is about.
Yeah,
but,
so
it might
Julia,
be.
Do you have any other paper?
I was browsing this morning and I saw the Standard and on Paradise TV.
Is it the rematch between between President
Barrow
and Lawyer Usainu Dabo?
Lawyer Usainu Dabo, yes.
Barrow releases rematch with Dabo in 2026.
So relish means he's looking forward
to another rematch with
it could well be. It could well be.
It's becoming a football game.
Because in America, of course, it was destined to be Trump versus Biden again until Biden's disastrous performance at the first debate, and then they staged their internal coup, and Kamala Harris stepped up and gave Trump a kicking at the second debate. So that rematch didn't happen, but it won't be the first. Around the world we have people having rematches, and this could very well be another one. And yes, we'll see whether the result will be the same,
Well, I mean, the other time they were talking about the coalition 2026. I mean, the political parties coming together and forming a coalition, the likes of GDC, UDP, and PDOIS.
You mean come 2026?
Yes.
2026.
Someone asked.
It's been talking about.
We've been talking. Someone asked a very sensitive question and said, "Who's going to be the party leader?"
But you could have said that when Barrow stood against Jammeh. At some point, you choose somebody.
Yeah,
you agree. I mean, people who you'd never thought would come together did come together then. We talk about in Senegal, both the main political rivals, they're actually made up of coalition of parties. There's not a single huge party, even for Sonko and Jomai Faye. Even their party is made up of a host of other parties joining them. So coalitions are becoming something of the norm in our part of the world. And it could happen, but because even unlikely bedfellows, as people might say, could come together because they think, we have a common cause or somebody that we want to.
Last Saturday, it was a very heated press conference in Mandinaring, Darussalam.
I saw it in one of the papers.
Yes, the people of Mandinaring, Darussalam, reacted to an eviction notice, sent to them by one Serigne Diop. Serigne Diop is known to be the Alcalo of Serekunda.
Right.
And the people came out in large number, to send a press release to the government of the Gambia, telling them we have over 20,000 residents in this area. And each and every person you see here, you bought your compound. You paid for it, and your papers were given to you. So according to information, Serigne Diop, a man called Serigne Diop, claimed to own almost 3 communities.
Yes.
You understand? During his days. But there are people that came out and said, okay, even the way he got his lease, wasn't the proper way. You understand? Because some of the alcalos and residents of that area, they made follow of the steps he's taken.
And they've made counter allegations
exactly.
against him.
So it's a huge problem at that area. And I think the government of the Gambia should look into that issue. Otherwise, it's going to be a bigger problem. Because at some point...
I mean, they want them to step in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because at some point, if you want to, come and evict residents of that area, that huge number of people with their families, then you are causing a bigger chaos.
Because according to here, it says residents appeal to government to stop demolition of over 1,000 households. So yes, I mean, so there were 20 persons per household. If
yes,
you're talking about 20,000,
20,000 people.
That's that's a lot. But of course, if you have the rights to do it and you're legally entitled to do it, I guess you can do it. But as I said, if you have the right, why not instead get them to pay you whatever for the land? Because that's a lot of households to be demolished. And then what? What are you going to do with
that?
With where you're going to sell it to real estate companies?
Well, the thing is, I mean, at some point you will see each and every person you've settled and you've spent a lot of money in your house. I mean, to be more precise. But if at all you want to evict those people, even if the law given you those steps to do that, at some point there will be a lot of chaos.
Sure.
So I think the government of the Gambia should look into the issue of Mandinaring Darussalam. I mean, right now in our country we have a lot of issues that we are currently struggling with, the survival of the people. We all know it's a global problem, but at some point we don't want problems to be added onto this.
Sure.
Yeah, so we move on. You're watching
Shall I take the next one?
Morning. Yes, we have.
We have a couple that are sort of linked, again from the Standard. Top right-hand corner, it says PPP leaders suggest Barrow should leave after current term. And then bottom left, you have Pan-African Parliament urged to compel presidents to respect term limits. Okay, we know in Africa there are about 10 presidents who, above 20 years, a couple of them 40 years plus. But in those countries, they don't have term limits. So what are the term limits you're asking them to? If a country has term limits, then yes, you want the president to respect them. But in Rwanda, they don't have, until now. But even then, I think Kagame can still contest another 2 elections. So yes, where there are term limits, people should respect them. But where they're not, it becomes a bit more complicated because people want there to be term limits across. But people like Museveni, Denis Sassou Nguesso in Congo, people like that, Paul Biya in Cameroon, 40 years, 41 or 42 years now he's been there, and he's going to stand again. Paul Biya at the age of, was he 90?
What? He got 90?
Yeah.
What is he going to rule?
He's 89 or 90. But yeah, I mean, these guys never want to leave. Like I said, when you see the perks and the benefits of being a president and how everybody's kissing your foot and whatever, it's no surprise that these people never want to leave the office, really. But, as I said, the Pan-African Parliament is saying that where there are term limits, people should respect those. I don't know what your views are on that, Joe.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right. You can't tell someone to respect something that is not there already. You can only tell someone to respect something that is there. But if term limits are not in those countries, I mean, what are they to respect? I think the right thing to do is to urge them to implement term limits in their countries, which I think is very, very important. It helps in making sure that, it limits coup d'etats in Africa, particularly West Africa.
Because that's the excuse or the reason many people give is because somebody wants to either overstay or tweak the constitution so they can stay a bit longer. And where there are term limits, you adjust it so that the term limits don't apply to you, that kind of thing. And that's been, although in Niger, I mean, Bazoum was only in 2 years when he was overthrown, so I'm not sure. But sometimes it's used as a reason or an excuse for coup d'etat. Balde, what's your take on it?
Well, term limits should be respected. At some point, in fact, going beyond your term limit, it's even a coup d'etat.
Yeah,
it's important for us to respect
the constitutional coup d'etat.
Constitutional coup d'etat. So let's, for the president of Guinea-Bissau, Sissoco Embalo, I am not surprised that he is going to honor that he's not going to run for second term.
Why are you not surprised? Everybody else is shocked.
Yeah, because no, at some point he was saying this in many gatherings that, look, running for second term, against your constitution, it's a coup d'etat.
Yeah, but against the constitution. But he's only served one term.
Yes, I know.
So, yes,
so if a person can say
surprise.
that, he can do anything. That's what I believe.
Yeah, right.
Yes. So
but for many of us, I think we were
exactly
shocked.
So we still have some of the papers here, and of course,
I'm trying to find some.
There is a particular.
Nawek, is it the Nawek one? Foroya?
Yes.
That is Nawek to receive electricity supply from Guinea through OMVG.
The OMVG project. I mean, I
The
thought the
famous
project was
OMVG.
stagnant at some point. No movement, nothing.
Why did you think
we've not been hearing a lot about the OMVG project.
Have you been asking questions about it?
And of course, engagement with few people.
Yes.
And I am pretty sure something is wrong. And we need to engage NAWEC on this to see how fast are we moving when it comes to that. Because a country that can drive its electricity supply from different parts of the sub-region. We have the Senelec, we have the Car Power, we have our NAWEC. Now we're talking about the OMVG.
OMVG is,
Even
it's
Senelec, I think it's under the OMVG project.
So there are many components, and we're not the only country that's like that in Africa. But you have a point, because a country should try and be self-reliant,
independent,
outsourced entirely.
Because we heard what happened when Nigeria was supplying to Niger, and when the coup d'etat happened, that was one of the things that they sort of used to kind of punish Niger, was to withhold the electricity power supply. I mean, people were suffering, and so they then kind of relented about that. But it's a danger, particularly if you rely on one country for a huge chunk of your power supply. It's not a good thing to do. So if possible, it should be avoided.
If possible, should be avoided.
So what else do we have?
Yeah, I think we'll take a leave of you now.
What? I'm refusing to go.
We are taking a leave of you, then the program is going to continue.
But before you take a leave of me,
So,
I have
Mr.
to give
Ade.
a shout out to your dad. I spoke to Balde's father. We had a very pleasent conversation. Very nice to speak to you. So
yes,
good day to you, sir. I hope you're having a great day.
Ade, he's gentle. He's a gentleman. I said, yes, he's gentle, definitely. So thank you very much, Mr. Ade,
A
for
pleasure. Thank you.
being with us throughout the paper review. And we hope to engage you again tomorrow, inshallah, on other topics too. So, Julde, at this point, we'll take a short break. We'll be back.
We're back.
It's happy time. Get 50% off all calls to any network. Enjoy calls every day to any network from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Is it too good to be true? QCell. We innovate, others follow. As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, the Gambia's trusted network. QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sinubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Get a QCell SIM card for free. Yes, absolutely free. Walk into any of our customer care centers and get a SIM free of charge. With a QCell SIM card, you can get the fastest and the most reliable internet plus wide range of amazing services. So rush now to any of our care centers and get a free SIM now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell Sunyubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Have you been looking for the perfect indoor router with long-range Wi-Fi coverage and faster internet speed connecting all your smart devices? Well, we present to you the QCell Indoor Router, a router that has all you need and much more. For just $4,275, you can get 4G plus internet speed, wide coverage, and connect up to 15 devices. And that's not all. The indoor router can be used for both office and home needs. So, enhance your internet experience with our indoor router. For more info, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyubus, we innovate, others follow.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
Banking the smart way with the new Ajibank mobile app. Transfer money to any bank account in the Gambia. Top up airtime for all networks. Pay utility bills. Check your account balance and view mini statements. Request for ATM cards. Request for checkbooks and more in a single touch. So, do your banking in a smart way. Do your banking now with Ajibank mobile app. Every time is banking time. Ajibank, your investment partner.
Welcome back. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Masuri Balde from Engaging Mr. Ade on the newspaper review. Now let's shift our attention to NAWEC, and we'll be talking about water conservation, which means using water wisely to avoid waste. It involves simple actions like fixing leakages and using less water at home, and teaching others to save water. This helps ensure we have enough clean water for the future. A drop saved by a neighbor is for a neighbor. And we have Abigail Yusuf, Position Hydraulic Modeler, Water Conservation Assistant Project Manager, and Tamsir Sawane, Energy Management and Hydraulic Modeler, Water Conservation Project. Gentlemen and lady, welcome to QTV this morning.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you very much.
On this platform, we believe ladies first. Yeah, so Abigail, can you take us through what water conservation means, and how do we do that in our compounds, workplaces, sometimes you even on the street you see leakages. How do we tackle those things?
Good morning, and thank you for having us here. The pleasure is all ours. So water conservation, like you just read, is basically about using water wisely, and so it involves making sure that we're managing water carefully so that the resources are not wasted, and we're able to conserve water for now and also for future generations to come. So it's important because there's so many benefits to...
We'll come back to you, but Mr. Sawane, you can pick it from there.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us here. And like Abigail was saying, water conservation is the act of using water judiciously But then going further to what she said, there are many ways that we can do to save water at home. And when we have a discussion, we will all understand that a lot of us out there are wasting water without even realizing it. And we believe that this is just a reminder as to how to save water, but a lot of us might know. For example, a lot of us tend to forget to close the tap while we are brushing our teeth. Before I joined the water, before I became a water conservationist, when I brush my teeth, I'll just leave the tap running. And a lot of viewers out there might also be doing the same thing. And we also realize that a lot of people waste water during laundry, takes a lot of water. And also when we are washing dishes, some people will just go under the running tap and then be washing dishes. And sometimes also when we perform ablution, we just go and then perform ablution under a running tap. And water conservation is very important. And this is not only about NAWEC not able to supply its customers water 24/7. Water conservation is a collective responsibility. And I think it is very important for all of us to look into ways that we can talk to people, we can encourage people on how to save water. Basically, this is what I can say for now, until you have other questions.
So in terms of the quality of water we drink, how quality is that? Because we know that 71% of the earth is covered by water, but only 1% of it globally can be used for drinking. The quality of water we have at our own level, how quality? Because there are a lot of rumors. People are saying that the water that we drink in this country now, people cannot drink it. It's not safe for drinking, and all of that. You have all those theories there. So how quality is the water that we're drinking there?
Yes, that one we can give you assurance that the water that people drink from the NAWEC water is very clean. Just to go on to what, just add one onto what you were saying, 97% of water in general is salt water, and the 3% is fresh water, and out of that 3%, we only have 1% for human consumption. So looking at this in general, let's not only focus on NAWEC is not giving us water. Why are you telling us to save water? No. As human beings, we should save water, looking in the fact that we only have 3%. And the more we use water, the more the table is going down, and we know what that means. And we are very lucky in the Gambia, if not only for the treatment that NAWEC is doing, but the water we have here, you can go to a lot of African countries here, you go to Senegal and other places. We have more fresh, more nice water than them, to be quite honest. So coming back to your question, I was an operator at the treatment plant, at Birkama treatment plant, and what we do there, we do 24-hour operation, and we make sure that when the water comes from the well, that is from the borehole, it goes through a lot of processes before it is distributed. And this is where we have the chlorine system. The chlorine is injected into the water even before it goes to the reservoir. You have the aeration, then from the aeration, between the aeration and the reservoir, we have the injection. The reason why we are doing that, we could have done that in the exit, but the water that is going, because sometimes you have the water stay in the reservoir for some time, and definitely when you are putting water there to stay maybe for hours or for days, it needs to be chlorine. It needs to have chlorine. And just to cut the long story short, the water that we are supplying is clean, and that one we can give you 100% assurance. But where the problem is, during transportation, anything can happen. And this is where we should also do what we call, we should all take care, both NAWEC and the customers. Because if you take the water from the treatment plant, going to your house, during that, burst pipes can happen, contaminations can happen. And this is in fact where we say we should preserve the water. We should not only save it, but we should protect it. Let's say you have your sockaway out there and you have a burst pipe near there. What do you think? The dirty water will have contact with the water, and that may cause issues. So, but to be quite honest with you, NAWEC's water is
clean. Okay,
clean
let's move.
But
Okay. Yes.
whose responsibility is that? Because most of these pipes are NAWEC pipes.
Yes.
So the way it is done, sometimes you see them lying on the ground. Sometimes you see that the pipes, when they burst, you see that, all sorts of things will get inside the pipe, and that it will take days. Some of the pipes will take days or even weeks before they are fixed. And some of these waters that are consumed by people, it's not good. So what is the role of NAWEC in terms of their piping system?
Yes, in the water conservation context, we, like I said, we make sure the water that people drink is protected. It is NAWEC's responsibility. And let me just say this before I go further. NAWEC as a company, will never shy away that we are not doing everything that our customers need out there. But we want them to have the understanding that we are working very hard to make sure these problems are resolved within a short period of time. So it is NAWEC's responsibility to fix those burst pipes, to be quite honest. And we are doing everything possible. If, let's say, those, the people that are on the ground will know that we have a lot of change, taking it from August 2021 to now, a lot of things have changed. Our response time have changed, our resolution time have changed. And, we are definitely trying to improve on that. We believe the burst pipes out there are too much that we cannot tackle all of them. But be rest assured that the team is working, and then logistics are being put to make sure we resolve this.
We handle it.
Yeah.
So let's move to Abigail. Why is it important to conserve water, and how does it impact the future?
Thank you. So I'll follow up from where Tamsil left off. He spoke about the water table, and I think it's a very a topic that is everyone is talking about now, climate change, and how the weather is changing, there's global warming and all of that. So it also affects water in a way. Like we said, there's only 1% of water that is useful for human consumption. And so what happens is climate change affects water conservation also. So the importance, like you said, we really need to make sure that we're conserving water so that we're not wasting the water that we do have access to, because water is not infinite. So that's something that people need to remember, that it's not infinite, like we already spoke about the 1%. Also, we use a lot of energy when we're trying to generate this water. So like he spoke about the boreholes, the aerators, the chlorine, and we also use transfer pumps to move them into the distribution lines. And all of these are very energy intensive processes. And so conserving water means that we're minimizing the amount of energy that we're using, which can also reduce carbon emission in the atmosphere. So that's a way that we can also save the environment. Again, it comes back to climate change. Also, it's also very cost intensive. So all of these things, it takes a lot of money in terms, money, financial means to actually get water to people at the end users. So it's important that it's a collective effort. NAWEC as a utility also has their part to play, but we just want the public to understand that they also have a part to play, and if we work together, then we can help to save water, not just for now, but also for our future generations to come.
What are the common ways we waste water in our daily life, Julde? You can engage her.
Thank you. So I actually have a video also that we usually share with people that they can watch. Common ways, like he mentioned when he was speaking, when you're using water to brush your teeth every day, you try to turn it off while you're brushing and then turn it back on when you're done brushing your teeth. Also, when you're cooking, try to minimize the amount of water you use. When you're washing dishes, you don't wash them with a running faucet, but try to close the tap and use a bowl of water. It's more efficient. Still many ways.
Well, Julde, I am guilty because in the morning I'll open the shower first and wait for like 5, 7, 8 minutes before I get into the water. So
Where is that?
I like doing it. I don't know, for some reason. Even
Right.
this morning I did it.
Yes.
So
I hope
it's a wastage of water.
Exactly.
I know.
So normally what we advise people, you can use that water to do something else. Let's say if you do that, you can have your bucket or your pans or whatever. You can put the water there, and then you can reuse it for something else. The people can use it for mopping. You can use it to, wash shoes and stuff like that. So, and this is not only you. We have a lot of people. And just to give you an example, if let's say somebody is brushing their teeth while the tap is running, you can waste, let's say, 35,000 liters of water in a month, and that 35,000 liters of month could have been used into something else. This is why we have the slogan of saying a drop saved by a neighbor is for a community, and a drop saved by a neighbor is for a neighbor. That water the running water that is going to the sink could have been used by, how to call it, Julde, or could have been used by Abigail. And there are many ways. You go to some car wash, you go to some people with their Bahamas and stuff like that. They just put the hose pipe and then place it there, and the water will be running. You will be using more water more than you needed it. And you could have used a sprinkle, whereby the water will be going, not wasting everywhere. Yeah.
When you talk about water, conserving our waters, we know that pollution also have a huge role as far as safe drinking waters are concerned. How do we tackle water pollution? Abby?
Okay. So like he mentioned when he was speaking, we have chlorine injection points in all our treatment plants. So
No,
the chlorine...
at an individual level, not NAWEC level now.
Okay.
How do we tackle water pollution issues? Because we know there are a lot of pollution going on, and a lot of the communities, especially in rural Gambia, they don't have what it takes to have clean drinking water. It's either they are using wells or they are using boreholes, and some of the people don't even know how to tackle some of these boreholes. Sometimes they are polluted, but you don't know how to tackle it.
Yes, coming into that, I think NAWEC is also working hard.
Okay.
If, let's say, we have a lot of our boreholes that are around this area that were decommissioned, and that is due to avoid pollution, contaminations and stuff like that. Safety is our #1 priority when it comes to water, because we know that water is one of the most important resources on earth, and we all need it, so we cannot compromise that. So we individually, we can try that. Let's say at home, for example, if you have a leakage, you should do whatever it takes to fix it, because these are some of the things they can bring contamination, and then the water can be polluted and then cause issues, and even on the streets. So I think, like Abby was saying, it's a collective responsibility. It's not only for the customers out there, but NAWEC also have a bigger role to play, and we are definitely making sure that the water that we give to people is safe for consumption. As far as NAWEC water is concerned, you don't have a problem.
It's safe.
Yeah, it's safe, yeah.
I'll also add to that with the pollution. I think another big thing that we can do is sensitization.
Okay.
Because like you said, some people simply don't know. And so where you don't know, you can't really help yourself. But when we tell people, and we're going out to communities and schools also as part of this campaign, so meeting people and informing them so that they're not ignorant of these things is a big way that we can help to solve the pollution issue.
Well, so that's the community engagement at some point, because the community also is very important, Julda. I mean, to help save water as well.
Yeah, and these are some of the challenges we face, the lack of awareness, you understand, because a lot of people out there don't know. Like Mr. Balne was saying, if this was a radio show or whatever, people will call you and then confirm to you that this is what I've been, especially with the brushing of teeth and stuff like that. Yeah, and this is why we are out here, and we want the public to understand that we are just here to remind them, we are just here to sensitize them. Let us forget about NAWEC not supplying them water. And even the water you use from your own borehole, it saves. And the most important thing, it saves, like Abigail was saying, it saves energy and saves money. For example, if you have your personal borehole and your people keep wasting water, that means you have to be buying more gas power, and that causes you something else. And in fact, the water to your borehole will be drying all the time. Yeah, so I think it is a very important thing that we all have to remind ourselves. Yeah.
So in terms of the policy tools, are there any policy tools in place for water conservation in the Gambia?
No, as of now, there are no policies for that. But this is just a start. Like I said, we started this in 2021, and then as we are going, things are growing bigger, and this is where we want to see ourselves. With time, we will try to engage with the government to see whether we can put those in place. Yeah.
So what have you achieved in the course of these 3 years?
Okay.
Abby, what are your achievements?
So our achievements, I think so far we've been able to meet with different schools. Especially last year, we went to quite a few schools in the GBA and also to a few schools in the provinces. So we've been able to meet the schools because we believe that meeting school children means that you're meeting one person, but that school child can go home and speak to their family. The family can speak to the community. So it's finding an outlet, a way that you can get your information across to the community.
Yes, and the other thing is, last year when we went to Armitage was part of the schools we visited.
Okay.
And as of today, I can tell you that they have a water conservation club.
Oh, okay, great.
Exactly. So these are one of the achievements that we have. If a school can have a water conservation, a school like Armitage can have a water conservation club, and Bansang Senior School also built a water conservation club, and next year, that is what we want to work on. We want to do a very big water conservation
tournament.
And this is where I know QTV will also have a very
that would be lovely.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Just to tell you that we really want to collaborate with you people, and then we need your support in this to make sure the information is out there. So we have, and some people will even call you during that time. Some students will call you to say, we really want to thank you, because all these things you are telling us are things we were doing them. We didn't even know that.
We didn't know, yes.
You know, definitely we are seeing the reward, the achievements. You know, it's very clear out there. You know, and the other thing that I always tell people around me, sometimes I will tease them. I will tell them, out of the 3-point-something million, we have one person who is a real water conservationist, like me. If I'm at home, nobody touches the tap. You dare not waste water in my presence.
You and my dad.
Exactly.
My dad will lock the tap the whole day.
Exactly. And when Marlene was there, our former CEO, you know, then people used to wash cars in our treatment plants everywhere.
Oh,
and
okay.
charity begins at home. When she came in, she makes sure all those things stops. Nobody washes a car with a running pipe. We advise people to use buckets. You know, there you save less water, and then you can...
We have lots of them now.
Exactly. And sometime, if you go to offices, you know, I will start from my own office. You see leaking taps there. You see, you know, water is leaking everywhere. And this is what I cannot take.
We don't even realize it. Sometimes these things happen, Jules.
Exactly.
We don't even realize it. Okay. Sometimes when you open the tap, I mean, you find a lot of chemicals in the water. What happened? Is it the application of the chlorine or something? Because at some point you want to drink and you find it very difficult to drink. What happened? You apply a lot of chlorine at that time?
Yes, those I'm not sure what is the real cause of it, but we will really look into that, because a lot of people have said that sometimes they have a lot of strong sense of the chlorine. It could be an overdose, but we will really have to see what exactly was the problem. Yeah, if those kind of things keep happening, I think the best thing you can do is to utilize our 1669 to call and say, we have a very strong sense of the chlorine, what is happening. Then the right people will be called and we will engage the treatment plan. For example, if it is around this, and we will call the nearest treatment plan supply in this area to see exactly what the problem is. Yeah.
All right, Julia. So anything before we close this
Yeah,
program?
I'm just interested about the schools, involving schools, the tournament that you're talking about. Talk to us more about that. Is it just schools within the Greater Banjul area, or is it across the board?
It's not just the Greater Banjul area, but it's also the provinces. We haven't finalized. We're planning it for 2025, but we know that there will be schools from the provinces, probably a mini tournament for those in the provinces, and another one for those in the GBA, and then somehow they will meet together for a final grand tournament, like a finale.
How will the tournament unfold? Like, what are we to expect?
So usually what we do, we engage the children to do poems. So they write poems on water conservation, and they also do artwork. They draw drawings and express themselves in different ways with their artistic abilities, and then we grade those, or we encourage them basically, because it's a way of doing their own research to learn more about it. So it's like even before we get to the school, they've already started doing research and already started educating themselves on the topic.
Wow.
Yeah, and not only that, but the act. Let's say when we choose a school, we make sure we visit the school to see whether they are really doing water conservation. Because if you go to the school and you see taps are leaking everywhere, water is everywhere, then obviously you know that it is not only about coming to read the poems, but also the actions.
Action is important.
The action is because
I think that is where awareness creation comes in. People don't know that it's only 1% that is available globally for for people to be able to drink water. So I think there needs to be more advocacy, more awareness creation at the level of NAWEC as far as conservation of water is concerned.
Absolutely. So what happened to our water bills? We are not getting bills recently.
Yeah, I think maybe we can leave that one for
another time.
Okay. And the right team will come here maybe to
engage us. Okay.
Yes, but
we would advise you to go to the nearest cash power outlet or NAWEC office, and they can help you get your bill.
Okay.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, because I've not been receiving bills, and I believe it's accumulating.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to bring a heavy bill for me.
So if you go with your account number, they will tell you how much you're supposed to pay. Yeah.
All right. So interesting engagement. Thank you for coming, Mr. Saone and Abigail. And I hope to we hope to invite you again, and engage you more, especially that tournament. We are really interested, to engage you more on water conservation. So, Julde?
Yeah, that is all we have until we come your way tomorrow for another edition.
Exactly. So, until we come here again, have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.